the status quo with your career choice. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to share my own story to shed light on the topic. So basically, I've had two interests. I'm a publicist. I'm sure some of you are wondering, what does she do? So when I want to sound serious, I say I'm a public relations specialist. So what I do is basically work with media agencies and work with companies to get their brands out there. So my journey started with a love for fashion and writing. I've always loved fashion from as young as I can remember. My grandfather used to call me Miss Nigeria because when I was 3, I wear my mom's heels, wear my Sunday best, and carry her bag and be prancing around the house. And basically with writing, it was in high school I picked up writing. It came naturally to me, but I had an English teacher who noticed that I was actually good at this, and she always encouraged me to write. So every time she said, okay, write about this or write about that, which was always published in the school's bulletin. So in high school, when it came to senior secondary, we had to select if we want to go to commercial class, arts class, or science class. I always knew that chemistry, physics wasn't for me. But it was a choice between arts and commercial class. My father was an entrepreneur and I had my elder brother went to commercial class, my elder sister went to commercial class. So I was just like, okay, I'll go to commercial class. I'm following everyone's footsteps. But I did literature because I love to write, so that's why I made sure I did literature. So at the end of high school, at A-levels, I continued towards A-levels. At the end of A-levels, when people ask me, what do you want to be? I'll say I want to be the editor of a fashion magazine because I like fashion and I like writing. So being the editor of a fashion magazine sort of combined both. But after A-levels, I took a gap year. And during this gap year, I'll say this was my year of unraveling. This is where I had to figure out what exactly was I going to study in university. My father wasn't going to pay for me to study fashion journalism. It wasn't happening anywhere. So it was about, okay, what do I study? He wanted me to be an accountant or study something like being finance. So my mom said, you like writing, I think you should look into a degree in communication. So I started researching about degrees in communication, what the coursework was like, and I was like, okay, this sounds more like me. But when I told my father, he wasn't having it. He said, so I'm going to pay for you to go abroad and you're going to study communications? No, it goes to Lasso or Milan and let's call it a day. And everything. But I was like, I can't. So what I did was I know how to write. So I wrote a long essay to my dad telling him the reasons why I wanted to study communication. And funny enough, my father studied history and he was now an entrepreneur dealing with chemicals. So I'm like, why can't I study communication? Because you went 360 with your own career. So he finally agreed. So I'm a very restless person by nature. So I was taking a gap year, this is a whole year. So I said, let me intern in a fashion magazine. So I wrote different letters, submitted it, I didn't get replies, I submitted it again, no replies. So I said, okay, you know what? Everybody's talking about blogging. Then there was no Linda Ikeji, but there was Bella Naija. Bella Naija was just about maybe a year and a half. So I said, okay, I'm going to start my own blog. So I started a fashion blog called Naija Fashion Freak. Hilarious. Anyways, so I used to just blog about fashion, trends, what people were wearing. Occasionally I would go to university campuses and take pictures and do like campus style, and this is what kept me going throughout the whole year. And surprisingly, it grew a following. People were going on my blog. So after I had figured out what I was studying, I decided I was going to study, and I had convinced my dad, global communications. And I kept blogging, but Bella Naija was becoming a website. So the founder pushed me, Uche Pedro. She was like, I really like what you're doing with your fashion blog. And I'm setting up Bella Naija as a website. Now, would you please join the Bella Naija team as the fashion editor? I was like, yeah, this is so exciting. So I started doing that. So I started university. I've been blogging since I started blogging around 17. So I started university at 18. So when I started, 2018, I was also blogging at the same time. What I noticed about university was I didn't find it, I enjoyed my classes. I loved going to school. I was loving every bit of it. Because what I was studying was what I was actually interested in. Going to class was, when they told me to write 20-page papers, I'll be so excited, I'll go to the library, I'm researching because I enjoyed it and I had a genuine interest in it. So post-university was great, fine. Thankfully for me, and I graduated with a first class degree. So when I came back, it was about, so what are you going to do now that you're back? I've been working in the Nigerian fashion industry for about 5 years, and it had changed dramatically. When I was leaving, there were maybe 2-3 fashion magazines. When I got back, there were about 6 or 8. You had stylists, you had photographers, you had more designers, you had young people designing, and it was like, everything had changed. So I said, okay, and I kept on getting emails, because as the editor, people, if you're a designer and you have somebody working with you, they'll say, okay, promote me, or you have a publicist, a fashion publicist, sending you an email like, put this designer on Better Nigeria because of this, because of that. And I thought they weren't doing it right. I just thought that, this is not how it's supposed to be done. So I came back, and 4 months after I moved back, 4 months after I actually graduated, I set up my PR company, Redrick PR. Now, when I set up my company, everybody was like, what are you doing? How can you just finish university and decide to set up your own company? Why don't you go and work for somebody first, gain 2 years, 3 years, 4 years experience, then you can set up your own company. But anybody who knows me well knows that I am a non-conformist. And for me, I felt like I am 20-something. And why I'm young now, why don't I have this idea? I know this is what I want to do. Why don't I start now? Why should I wait for 4 years or 5 years? Or when I'm 30, I have a child or 2 children, I have a husband, and when I want to set up this type of things, I have to consider these people, like it's just me. I'm under my mom's roof, I'm not paying for food, I might as well start now. If it doesn't work out, I'll say, I've gained experience. I'll pack up my bag, update my CV, knock at MTN's doors and say, I want to work. So for me, it was about doing it now. I know a lot of people would say you should work before, and I'm not saying that is completely wrong, or people should not do that. But I'm saying that people should be open to other things. People should be open to exploring other, even till today, when I tell people I'm a publicist, they're like, publicist what? Like, what exactly do you do? And I'm sure some people here are probably wondering, what exactly does she really do? So sometimes it's not about, I remember when we were growing up, they used to say, what do you want to be? They would say, do you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant? We're only giving maybe 5 options. And I had to pick from those ones. I remember I said, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a lawyer. Then when I found out what law was about, I was like, I don't think this is for me. So now that if you want to bake, if you like baking cakes, and you feel that you want to bake cakes, bake cake. If you want to be a fashion designer and you love, cutting and styling and sketching, be a fashion designer. But the most important thing is, as far as you're sure that is what you want to do. I remember about 4 months ago, about 4 or 5 months ago, so now I've been in business for about 2 years. I started in my house, but now I have an office. I have 1 full-time staff who I pay salary every month. So I'm quite a big girl now. So basically, so this was about 4 months ago, and I I was in my friend's house, my very good friend. And I remember I saw her mom in the evening. I first saw her mom, and her mom said, Ijeoma, I heard you're on your own. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm. She was like, okay. Okay, I think maybe you should. It's good, but I feel that, getting experience from work, working 2-3 years, especially as a young lady, is better. I was like, that day I wasn't in the mood to start fighting and saying this is why, I kept quiet. I said, okay, ma. The next morning, I see her dad. And I was like, Ijeoma, long time, I'm not seeing you in a while. I'm like, yes, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I heard this is what you're doing now. I said, yes. He was like, okay. As a young girl, I think that you should go and work in a place 2 years, 3 years, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Shebi, you graduated with a first class degree. Give me your CV, send your CV to me on Monday. I will give it to all the top consulting firms. They will hire you. And I'm then thinking, with all this, you ask me, what is this I want to do? I've told you that. You asked me if the business going well. I said yes. I even have an office space. I've paid rent. I have staff. And you expect me to just close up shop today and put in my CV and apply for a job in consulting? Did you for 1 second ask me, is that really what you want to do? So a lot of our parents all want the best for us. So if your dad is saying you want you to be a doctor, but sometimes they want the best for themselves too, so they can say, that's my daughter is a doctor. But the thing is, they are coming from a good place. But the most important thing is to realize what you want to do. Because some people are still unraveling. What I'm saying is that you can be at a point where you don't exactly know what you want to do. You say, okay, I have an interest in this, I have an interest in that, this thing comes easily to me, that thing comes easily to me. But you don't know exactly what it is you want to do. And I'm not saying that just because you say, okay, for instance, you say, I know I don't want to be a banker, I know I don't want to be a lawyer, I know I don't want to be this, but I don't know what I want to be. So in the meantime, while you're discovering what you want to be, you decided to stay at home and, unravel. No. And tell everybody that you want to set up a business, but you don't know about it yet. No, that's not what I am suggesting. What I'm saying is, for instance, if you are at the point where you don't know what you want to do exactly, you say you want to do, I don't know, maybe you want to be like cake or you want to be an event planner, but you don't know exactly. Yes, you can work for a while until you're sure that this is uncertain, that this is what you want to do. But what I'm saying is that the moment you find out that this is exactly what I want to do, you start at that point. You don't wait until things get perfect or certain things are in place, because in reality, things will never get perfect. And I'm saying you have contacts. For instance, when I went into PR, it's because I've been working in the fashion industry, and my company deals with clients in the fashion, lifestyle, and retail industry. I've worked in the fashion industry because I started young for 5 years. So I knew the contacts within that industry. I didn't say, I'm setting up a company, and the next day I woke up and started looking for contacts and looking for, the things that I needed to know. At least I had gained, a considerable amount of knowledge to say, okay, I think I'm in a good place. I think I can do this. So therefore, I am starting to do this now instead of starting to do this later. So when you know that this is exactly what you want to do, and you have, the experience and sort of the technical know-how, then you do it. Because I tell people, when people tell me, oh, you're a publicist, no, I tell them I study global communications. I specialize in integrated marketing communications. So I'm basically doing what I studied. I was fortunate enough to be able to do what I studied. But for some people, maybe you're working in banking and you want to explore event planning. I would advise that before you start, you go for a course in event planning. You say, okay, I I have one client or two clients before you start. So that when you actually start, you're starting. It's not like when you start, that's when you're getting yourself prepared. So in that preparation period, you can be doing a, sort of like a regular or a typical job. So basically what I'm trying to say, the whole point of this is you shouldn't be afraid to go a little bit outside the box if you feel that's exactly what you want to do. You shouldn't be discouraged by people who are telling you that, who does that? Or my child cannot be doing that one. Or you shouldn't be discouraged. If you really believe that this is what you want to do, and you work hard, you have to work hard no matter what it is you're doing. Because I know some people who say they're setting up, I have this friend who says, oh, she's setting up a business. And every day she's setting up a particular business. And every Monday she wakes up at 10 a.m. and she watches TV. And she maybe leaves the house at around 12. And after 2-3 hours, 3 p.m., she's back. What did you do today to help your business, to start up your business? She can't say one thing. That's not what I'm saying. So it's basically once you find out what you want to do, even though it's outside the box, even though it's a little bit, not typical, put your mind to it, be focused, be determined, and just do it. I think I'm done.